it comes to this thick of foul. this is at least 300 to 400 pages of guidelines that they had issued previously for discussion with G20 economies and their experts. And they had invited feedback, so they've finalized all of that. Obviously that hasn't been introduced in Pakistan as yet, but I suppose once we have a derivative market that is of a substantial material size, we may come to that situation, right?
I have two questions. My first question is that isn't Basel III putting too much emphasis on credit rating agencies, especially considering the fact that they didn't play a very good role in the current crisis? There's definitely a conflict of interest between the credit ratings and the issuer of the security.
Could you just repeat the question, please?
Yeah, isn't Basel III depending too much on credit rating agencies, especially considering the fact that they didn't play a very good role in the current market crisis? There's definitely a conflict of interest between the issuing authority and the credit rating agency. How can Basel III tackle that?
Okay, now I think it was more Basel II that had placed such an emphasis. I would partially agree with that, but what you would see is that, you know, if you take into account ratings that have been issued by reputed agencies like S&P and Moody's, you would see that there is still a great deal of discriminating power in their rating process. For instance, long-term defaults of AAA rating is lower than AA, right? AA's have lower probability of defaults than A, and so on and so forth. Obviously, yes, there is a conflict of interest, right? If I am the issuer, right, and I am paying the rating agency, then there is an inherent conflict of interest. Obviously, that is being addressed in the Western markets. Even, say, locally, we did a study, right? I'll be frank with you. What I have found is that at times, the market pays a higher premium, right, on bonds that were basically better rated. So, something that is rated AA, right, may have a higher spread than, say, something like A, right? I will not name specific parties, right? But a request came from a multilateral development agency, right? And we did something ad hoc, right? Now, obviously, certain ratings have become old, even in the local scenario. I'm not saying when they were actually issued, such was the case. But you can see that there is at times negative correlation between the ratings assigned and the spread, actually.
My second question is that in the Western countries, banks, they don't directly invest in risky assets like asset-backed securities or collateralized debt obligations. They have certain subsidiaries like investment banks and special purpose vehicles. So on the balance sheet of the bank, they probably have the market value of the shares of that company, but the riskiness of the assets, it may not be reflected in the balance sheet. Can Basel III tackle that issue as well?
I think even Basel do address that concern reasonably, because in a sense it wanted internationally active banks to adopt the regulations on a consolidated basis, right? Obviously locally we have gone even a step further from that, both on consolidated basis and standalone basis. But if you read the original document, what you would find is that once you start bringing in on a consolidated basis their assets and liability, you do a line by line addition, right? As accountants do. You will probably obviously discuss that with somebody in the finance department as well. What you would know is that you tend to book virtually all losses. So I suppose that is addressed.
Thank you.
I think just to carry on from that comment, I think hota ye hai ki once you've got regulation in place, then the industry starts on how to bypass that regulation. And that's really where the threat starts from. So you start off, you say, this is the regulation, these are good practices. Good practices to bada aasan hai keh dena ki ji, you will have leverage ratios that look like this, that, the other. फिर एक पूरी इंडस्ट्री है, उसमें हम लोग भी शामिल हैं, एडवाइजर्स कहते हैं या कंसल्टेंट्स कहलाते हैं, या वेरियस गार्ड से the same people who have put the regulations together will then go the other side and they will say to them, let us tell you how to get around this. So whether it is off balance sheet or whatever else, and even for example, rating advisors bhi ab aajkal exist karte hain, will come and tell you how to get a rating improvement. And what are they going to tell you? They're going to tell you what are the things that the rating agencies look at, आप ये 5 चीज़ें ठीक कर लें तो आपकी रेटिंग बेहतर हो जाएगी. So these, it's a cat and mouse game, there's no question about it. I think the regulators have learned that these are the things that have gone wrong. They're not surprises by any definition. If you look at the UK banks' overall liquidity, 35 years ago they were sitting at an average liquidity of about 32%. Over the last 30 years it has come down to literally 3%. क्योंकि वैसे की जरूरत नहीं है, आप ये मैनेज कर लेंगे, कर लेंगे, whatever. So the whole industry started to accept that. Now, one thing I'd like to add is that the problem is also a bit more compounded by the fact that you have peer pressure. कि जी वो तो इतने कम पे करके और इतनी अच्छा रिटर्न दे रहा है तो आप क्यों नहीं दे सकते? So even those that have the wisdom and the logics in place, वो peer pressure से challenge होनी शुरू हो जाती है. So you bring the whole industry down into a cycle which allows you to come down to 3%. And your question is absolutely valid कि जी इस दफा जो crisis हुई वो liquidity की वजह से हुई. And liquidity की भी तो वो cycle पूरा का पूरा चला. So again coming back, there will be a whole industry that will work on how to get around all the parameters of Basel III. तो उसके लिए भी बहुत सी jobs होंगी हम लोगों के लिए.
Someone rightly said that with regulations you can only regulate the conduct, you cannot regulate the ethics and the morality. So these regulations are of course there, but of course there are people who can work around those. So ladies and gentlemen, let's move ahead on this. We are honored to have a very experienced worthy chairman with us, Mr. Ayaz Ahmed. Mr. Ayaz Ahmed has been associated with Habib Bank Limited as its chief financial officer since last so many years. He is also on the board of various companies including CDC, NIFT, OneLink, etc. He is associated with ICAP as a member of the Professional Standards and Technical Advisory Committee. Yep. So Mr. Ayaz is associated with ICAP as a member of Professional Standards and Technical Advisory Committee. He is also on the Pakistan Bankers Association Committee on Accounting and Taxation. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Ayaz Ahmed to conclude this session with his comments.
Thank you very much. It is an honor always to be here, and I think to be with colleagues and friends and same profession. And I said it very seriously that there is always a job for us. This will be for making regulations, then there will be jobs for enforcing regulations, and then there will be also jobs for helping break the regulations, and then for defending them when we get to the courts. So basically, good luck to all of us. One of the key points that I tried to make when we were talking about this in the question and answer session, that all that we have talked about is something that we all recognize as business issues. And I'll share with you just two practical things that I've experienced in my previous jobs, and you can then understand what I'm saying. Way back in 1988, I used to work for an asset management company in the UK in London, and उनका जो strategy थी या जो उनकी reading थी, उसमें यह था कि Japan is overvalued. Basically, our in-house economist came in and said Japan is overvalued. So when you have an asset management company, and some of you will have worked there, what does that do? You say, I will underweight this investment and I will run my portfolio with that slightly underweight. Next year, Japan grew by 40%. So जब पूरे इंडस्ट्री के एवरेज रिटर्न्स निकले तो उसमें हमारी कंपनी का जो था रिटर्न वो लो था. तो लोगों ने पूछा क्यों? कहीं हम जापान में अंडरवेट थे. But we believe Japan is overweight. I mean, it's overheating and it's too large. The ratio of the economy to the stock market is out of line. ठीक है, we trusted the economists. Next year, फिर we said underweight कर लो. अगले साल फिर Japan grew by 40%. अब जो third time economist ने कहा कि भाई I still believe Japan is overweight, उसको इतनी गालियाँ पड़ी, and the bank